Hi there, Libra. Welcome to your end of November 2025 General Tarot Update. It's Rena here. By the way, since we're only halfway through November, I do have November horoscopes on my channel as well as December horoscopes for the last month of the year. So you can check that out if you're interested in astrology. Your card. There you go. Wow. I just got this for last, but in a different position. The Two of Cups as well as the Death card. I think that, I don't know if I got the Justice card too, but in different positions for Sagittarius. So maybe Sagittarius and Libra are linked somehow. The heart of the matter is the Justice card, the card that you rule. Now it's interesting, in this deck, the Wild Unknown Tarot, they have the Justice card as 8, and that is a strength card in a lot of other decks, including the Rider-Waite deck, which is kind of the standard deck. So that's interesting because the number 8 is a number of worldly power, and it can even be connected to money. It's the house of the 8th house in astrology is other people's money or shared resources. So, I mean, there could be something along that. I would say especially, inheritance with the Death card. This is in the past position. So something that happened, whether it was physical death of someone and there is some kind of inheritance that you're dealing with. And it may not be that you're receiving it yet. It might just be in the process. But in relationships that have died, then the divorce proceedings and splitting up assets and things like that. And the point is that it can be a difficult process if it's something that you really are doing and it's not something you want to be doing. Maybe you feel like you have to do it because you're being forced to legally, but it's kind of under duress. Sometimes, because the Justice card could be about fairness, if there is some kind of, if you, God forbid, had any loved one that died under suspicious circumstances, like for instance, medical malpractice, and you're like, that's not fair. They should have to, meet justice or pay the price, whatever. Something like that. I mean, it could be one of those situations as well. But maybe like, feeling like you're not getting your fair share of an inheritance or of a divorce proceeding, like that you don't get the child support that you wanted or what have you. What crosses you is the Five of Cups. So this is a card of grieving the loss of something. In the challenge position, I feel like even if a situation had to be the way that it is, where you realize you couldn't stay married to someone, it just was not going to work out. But it doesn't mean that you didn't love that person, at least at one time, and that you don't feel that sense of loss now that the relationship is kind of winding down. And so this card of grief is like saying, Don't try to rush the process. Being an air sign, you might be a little bit out, like in your head and too detached, because everybody has feelings. Well, most everybody. And so you might just be like, I don't want to be weighed down by these heavy emotions. And then you're psychologically bypassing. You're trying, or maybe spiritually bypassing, by thinking that you have to believe certain things that keep you from actually having to deal with your grief. So, like in the spiritual community, they might say, death is an illusion and things. And so then you might kind of parrot those sayings, because really you don't want to deal with it fully or admit to it. You just, it's easier to say platitudes, and it keeps you in that detached place. The higher message is the Mother of Wands, which is the Queen of Wands. And this is a card of being almost like a leader, but at the same time being very warm hearted and almost like a caretaker at the same time. So there's like an independent part of it, but there's also like that desire to nurture. And maybe it's to other family members, other people who do everything they can to avoid the topic of death or dealing with it. They would rather just pretend that it's all just an illusion, it doesn't matter, when in fact there may be a lot of grief, that's stuck grief inside. And I think sometimes that's why people hyper focus on some kind of legal battle or something, because it kind of takes their mind off of their pain that is unacknowledged pain. What's coming in? The Mother of Swords, which is Queen of Swords. The Mother Queen represents the water element, which represents, the water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. But the water element is all about feeling, and the swords is about the intellect, like you have, the air signs. And so put together, it's almost like they cancel each other out. So basically, the person has to be willing to remain detached, meaning that they're not allowing themselves to get so bogged down with grief that they can't function, they can't do what they have to do, but their heart is just completely open. And they're not trying to just justify things. They're ready to deal with loved ones in a very unique way, personalized way for each person that they're dealing with. The outcome card is the Two of Cups, and can be a card of reunion. Sometimes it's a card of commitment. I was just saying, when I had a few of these cards in my past reading, that when you have a reunion, it could be an aligned time for you and another person, when before both of you were committed to other people, or you're raising children or whatever, and now it's time for you to be together, and it's the perfect time. And when that happens, it's like almost worth the wait, if it was like many years or something like that. So even though you have the card of grief, you have the card of commitment. So it sounds like you have to work through something to get to that other side. Okay, Libra, that's what I have for you. I hope that this resonated. If you'd like an astrology reading, a tarot reading, or both, please click on the link before. Check out my package deals and my single readings And thank you for watching, and I appreciate it. Take care. Bye.